It's a dreary, almost winter day, and Brassavola Little Stars is in bloom. Let's talk about this featured first-time bloomer coming up at the Orchid Hut. Welcome back to the Orchid Hut. My name is Dana, and this video is a featured orchid because it is a first-time bloomer for me. Now, it has a bit of a long history in my collection, actually, and finally, I sort of figured out what it was looking for in order to bloom. I added this one to my collection about 3 years ago, and initially I tried to grow it in my bay window, and it simply was not enough light in an intermediate light type area where my Phalaenopsis orchids love to grow. And the second year I moved it outdoors to the shelf along the side of the Orchid Hut, and even that was not really enough light to cause it to bloom during the fall-winter season. This particular growing season, I had it on the bench where more bright light was received, more like Cattleya light, and of course this is part of the Cattleya Alliance, so it makes sense that it would enjoy that type of light, and lo and behold, I have a first-time bloomer in my collection. Now, I know it wasn't just a maturity type of thing, because when I purchased this orchid 3 years ago, I could tell that it had previously bloomed. It was really just a matter of giving it enough light to cause it to bloom during its blooming season. Okay, so let's talk about some other things about this orchid. It is a primary hybrid. It is a cross between Brassavola nodosa, which I also have in my collection. It's the orchid that grows in the square sort of puffed clay pot, and it is also in bloom right now. And the other species orchid used to create this little stars orchid is, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, Subularifolia. And I believe previously that may have been known as cordata. So if we go back to the nodosa species orchid, you know, it grows in low-lying coastal regions, Central and South America, from Mexico all the way down to Colombia and into the Caribbean islands. So those orchids are getting a lot of bright light, and they are warm to hot growers. The Subularifolia species orchid is native to Jamaica, and it can have spikes with 6 or more flowers. And you know, this one doesn't have that characteristic, but its very first bloom spike does have these 2 gorgeous open blooms. And you can see right down here, there's another bud, and another bud right here, and another bud right here. I wanted to go ahead and film this though, because not ever having had this one bloom before, I don't know how long these blooms are going to last, and I really was a little bit hesitant to wait until they all possibly might be open at the same time, but we'll have to wait and see. If I have all 5 blooms open at once, I will make sure to post a picture of it on the community forum. But I wanted to go ahead and film this just in case they are all not open at the same time. Now, the nodosa orchid is very fragrant at night. I would say it's a sweet floral type scent. I read about the other species orchid that was used to cross this one, and they describe it as a citrus scent, and I don't know that for certain because I haven't experienced it myself, but I will say that this little stars Brassavola has a different scent than the nodosa. This one is almost more of a jasmine type scent during the night, because it is called the Lady of the Night orchid. The scent attracts pollinators at night. Now, the other thing that's a little bit interesting about this one is that it has a trade name of Yasuji Takasaki, and apparently that is the trade name for a clone that was made from the cultivar. So it has a bit of a special name there simply because it was cloned and received a trade name. Okay, now let's talk a little bit more about the care for this orchid. You know, I don't fertilize it any differently than any of my other orchids. You know, during the growing season, it probably is watered every 3 or 4 days. And now during the winter, I'm probably watering it every maybe 10 to 14 days, so it is kept a bit drier now during the blooming season. It has been in this pot probably for 2.5, 3 years, and I'll put a link in the upper right hand corner of the screen. I did feature this orchid in one of my videos describing how to tell when to water your orchids, and I'll put a link in the upper right hand corner for that, and you can go back and see how 2 years ago this plant was really only about half this size. So it has grown a lot, and I could tell during this growing season that it was receiving more of the light that it wanted and needing, because there was a little bit of purple coloration on some of the leaves, which is anthocyanin, which shows that it's receiving the proper amount of light. Okay, so gorgeous little blooms here. They have almost kind of a heart-shaped lip with light green petals and sepals. A really, really pretty little flower that smells just spectacular at night. Okay, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, or learned something new, please give it a thumbs up. The subscribe button is coming up in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Thank you so much for watching this featured orchid video, and talk to you next time.